Welcome to the Mysteries of the Bible channel. If you like videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel, click like and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. We have new videos every week. Next, we will explore another one of the many mysteries of the Bible. In the heart of the Bible's grand narrative, we meet Jacob, a man whose life was a tapestry woven with threads of deception, transformation, and ultimately, God's unwavering grace. Jacob's journey is one of the most compelling stories of personal growth and divine intervention. His life, marked by moments of profound struggle and divine encounters, offers a rich tapestry of lessons and reflections for us all. Born the second son of Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob's story is intertwined with that of his twin brother, Esau. From the very moment of their birth, the two brothers were destined to walk vastly different paths. Their mother, Rebekah, had been told by God that two nations were in her womb, and that the older would serve the younger. This prophecy set the stage for a lifetime of rivalry and struggle. From the very beginning, their lives were marked by a rivalry that would shape their destinies. As children, Jacob and Esau's differences were evident. Esau, with his fiery temper and love for the outdoors, often clashed with Jacob's more introspective and cunning nature. Their arguments and physical tussles were not just the squabbles of siblings, but the early signs of a deeper, more profound conflict. Esau, the elder, was a rugged outdoorsman, a skilled hunter who won the favor of their father. Isaac, their father, admired Esau's strength and bravery, often taking him on hunting trips and sharing stories of valor. Esau's prowess in the wild made him a favorite in Isaac's eyes, a bond that Jacob could never quite replicate. Jacob, on the other hand, was a quiet, contemplative soul, content to stay close to home. He spent his days studying, learning, and helping his mother, Rebekah, with household tasks. Rebekah, recognizing Jacob's potential and the prophecy she had received, nurtured his intellect and cunning. She saw in him the future leader that God had promised. While these differences might seem insignificant, they laid the groundwork for a lifetime of conflict. The tension between the brothers grew as they aged, each vying for their father's blessing and the birthright that came with it. Their contrasting personalities and desires only deepened the chasm between them, making reconciliation seem impossible. The brothers, though bound by blood, were opposites in temperament and desire. Esau's impulsive nature often led him into trouble, while Jacob's calculated moves were driven by a desire for security and blessing. This fundamental difference would become a source of both tension and transformation in Jacob's life, pushing him towards a path he could never have anticipated. This fundamental difference would become a source of both tension and transformation in Jacob's life, pushing him towards a path he could never have anticipated. Jacob's journey was not just a physical one, but a spiritual odyssey. He would face numerous challenges, from fleeing his brother's wrath to wrestling with an angel. Each step of his journey was a step toward understanding his true purpose and the divine plan for his life. Through deception, dreams, and divine encounters, Jacob's story unfolds as a testament to the transformative power of faith and perseverance. His life reminds us that even in our darkest moments, there is a path to redemption and grace. One fateful day, as Esau returned home famished from a hunt, he stumbled upon Jacob preparing a simple meal of lentil stew. The aroma of the stew wafted through the air, tantalizing Esau's senses and making his hunger even more unbearable. He had been out in the wilderness for hours, tracking game and exerting himself under the scorching sun. His body was drained and his stomach growled with an intensity that made him feel weak. Overcome by hunger, Esau made a rash decision. His desperation was palpable. He could think of nothing else but satisfying his immediate need for food. The sight of the steaming bowl of stew in Jacob's hands was too much for him to bear. He felt as though he would collapse if he didn't eat something right away. His mind raced, and in that moment of weakness, he was willing to give up anything to fill his empty stomach. He traded his birthright, his privileged status as the firstborn son, for a bowl of Jacob's stew. This birthright was not just a material inheritance, it was a sacred and significant position within their family. It included leadership, a double portion of the inheritance, and a special blessing from their father. Yet, in his moment of dire hunger, Esau saw it as nothing more than a means to an end. He handed over his birthright to Jacob, who accepted it with a knowing look in his eyes. This impulsive act revealed Esau's disregard for the spiritual significance of his birthright, while simultaneously highlighting Jacob's cunning and ambition. Esau's nonchalant attitude towards something so valuable was a stark contrast to Jacob's calculated move. Jacob had always been observant, waiting for the right moment to secure his future. He saw an opportunity in Esau's weakness and seized it without hesitation. This moment was a testament to their differing values and priorities. This event marked a turning point in their relationship. The bond between the brothers, already strained by their differences, was now further complicated by this transaction. Esau walked away, his hunger momentarily satisfied, but unaware of the long-term consequences of his decision. Jacob, on the other hand, felt a sense of triumph. He had gained something invaluable, something that would shape his destiny and alter the course of their family's history. It solidified the dynamics of their personalities. Esau, impulsive and driven by immediate gratification, and Jacob, calculating and willing to seize an opportunity. Esau's impulsiveness was his defining trait, often leading him to make decisions without considering the future. Jacob, however, was always thinking ahead, planning his moves like a game of chess. This incident was a clear reflection of their inherent natures and set the stage for future conflicts and decisions. Though seemingly insignificant, this exchange over a simple meal foreshadowed the complex and morally ambiguous choices that would come to define Jacob's journey. The bowl of stew was more than just food, it was a symbol of the lengths to which Jacob would go to achieve his goals. It hinted at the future struggles, deceptions, and triumphs that would characterize his life. This moment, simple yet profound, was a prelude to the intricate tapestry of events that would unfold in the lives of Esau and Jacob. As Isaac aged and his eyesight dimmed, he found himself increasingly reliant on his other senses and the trust he placed in his family. His once sharp vision, which had guided him through many years of life, was now a mere shadow of its former self. The world around him grew blurrier each day, and he knew that the time was drawing near for him to pass on his legacy. The time came for him to bestow his patriarchal blessing upon his eldest son Esau. This blessing was not just a simple prayer or a few kind words, it was a powerful and sacred tradition that would determine the future of his lineage. Isaac's heart was heavy with the weight of this responsibility, knowing that his blessing would shape the destiny of his family for generations to come. Rebekah, Isaac's wife, was acutely aware of God's prophecy that the younger son Jacob would rule over the elder Esau. This divine revelation had been a source of inner conflict for her, as she loved both her sons dearly. However, her faith in God's word was unwavering, and she felt compelled to ensure that the prophecy would come to pass. Thus, she devised a plan to secure the blessing for Jacob, believing it was her duty to fulfill God's will. She clothed Jacob in Esau's garments, covering his hands and neck with animal skins to mimic his brother's hairiness. The deception was intricate and required careful planning. Rebekah's hands trembled slightly as she dressed Jacob, knowing the gravity of their actions. She whispered words of encouragement to her son, urging him to trust in the plan and in God's promise. Jacob, though hesitant, agreed to go along with the scheme, driven by his mother's conviction and his own desire for the blessing. When Jacob approached his father, Isaac, though blind, was suspicious. The scent of the garments and the feel of the animal skins were convincing, but Isaac's intuition told him something was amiss. He called Jacob closer, his voice tinged with uncertainty. "Who are you, my son?" he asked, his heart pounding with a mix of hope and doubt. Jacob replied, "I am Esau, your firstborn," his voice steady but his heart racing. Isaac reached out to feel Jacob's hands, his fingers brushing against the rough animal skins. "The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau," he uttered in confusion. His mind wrestled with the conflicting evidence before him. The hands felt like Esau's, but the voice did not match. Isaac's blindness made him vulnerable, and he struggled to reconcile his senses with his instincts. Despite his doubts, Isaac was ultimately convinced and bestowed the blessing upon Jacob. He placed his hands on Jacob's head and spoke the sacred words, passing on the birthright and the divine favor that came with it. The blessing was profound, filled with promises of prosperity, leadership, and divine protection. Jacob felt a surge of emotion as the words washed over him, knowing that his life was forever changed. This act of deception, orchestrated by his mother and carried out by his own hand, would have far-reaching consequences. Jacob and Rebekah both knew that their actions would not go unnoticed, and the weight of their deceit hung heavy in the air. Jacob's heart was troubled, torn between the joy of receiving the blessing and the guilt of how it was obtained. Rebekah tried to reassure him, but the unease lingered. It deepened the rift between the brothers, forcing Jacob to flee his home and face the consequences of his actions. Esau's anger was fierce, and he vowed to take revenge on Jacob for stealing what was rightfully his. The once close bond between the brothers was shattered, replaced by bitterness and resentment. Jacob's journey away from home was fraught with danger and uncertainty, but it was also a path of self-discovery and growth. Yet, it also set in motion a chain of events that would lead him on a path of spiritual awakening and ultimately to a profound encounter with God. In the wilderness, Jacob found solace in prayer and reflection. He sought guidance and strength, and in his solitude he experienced moments of divine revelation. These encounters with God would shape his character and destiny, transforming him from a deceiver into a patriarch of faith. Jacob's journey was a testament to the power of redemption and the fulfillment of God's promises, despite human flaws and failings.